basic salary deductions in excess of a third basic. I read, Chair. Examination of IPPD payroll revealed that there were employees whose net salaries were not in compliance with the one-third rule on basic salary. For instance, in the month of March 2021, 234 officers earned net pay that was less than a third of their basic salary. This contrary to Section 1.3 of the Human Resource Policies and Procedures Manual for the Public Service 2015, which requires that public officers shall not overcommit their salaries beyond 2/3 of their basic salaries, and heads of human resource units should ensure compliance. Consequently, the county executive was in breach of law. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Chair, our response is that the cost of the employees earning below a third came as a result of factors that were beyond the county control. There were 3 kinds of cases, and these include, if you recall, during the period of the COVID-19 pandemic, the government issued an amnesty to caution its citizens against the harsh economic conditions. However, after the review of tax upwards after tax waiver, that is from 25% to 30%, that had been provided for by the government, whereas the employees had already committed their salaries taking advantage of the waiver. So, Chair, what happened is that when the waiver was given, an opening was found in the payslip, and the employee quickly took a loan. Now, when again the COVID was over and they were taken back to the 30%, it clearly created over deduction. There was also the introduction of a contributory government pension scheme, where the PSS scheme for the devolved staff and the employees of the County Public Service Board on permanent and pensionable terms of service was effected in January 2021, thus affecting the net salary for employees, whereas they had already committed the salary. This one came later. And then there was also the liability house rent arrears. There are officers who are occupying the government houses, and the government requested that the arrears be deducted. Chair, allow me to also report that we are already grappling with very many of these cases now, especially with the new introductions of housing tax, the increase of income tax from 30 to 35. We are also struggling, but we have advised our employees, please reorganize your loans, because there is very little as a county we can do. Thank you. I submit.
Thank you. Smiley.
This is actually an issue on compliance of law, and we shall continue raising up the issue until the law is complied to. Therefore, the issue is not addressed. We shall just continue monitoring the issue, Chair.
Governor, when you look at this matter, you don't think there's a way you could mitigate and look for a way on how we can operate within the law?
Let me say, maybe, so I give you an example.
Yes.
As governor of Nyeri, in August last year, I arranged my payslip.
Okay.
I took the necessary loans to ensure that I was at 1/3.
Okay.
Now, the housing levy was introduced. The NSSF was introduced. Then there is also the another one called SHIF. And then the income tax was readjusted to 35%. Unless now I wait until I repay the loans that I borrowed, there is very little I can do. But the Kenya Kwanza government, you remember there was an increase in July of salary. That has helped a little, because for some it has covered the deductions. So it is, unless there are pay rises, because already you know, those problems now came in just in the same way.
I totally understand what you're saying. It's a policy issue that is being affected because of the other policy decisions which have been made, which then is affecting the policy on how we are even to handle the PFM Act. Thank you. Yes.
Governor, I thought this year under review was the year when there was no housing levy fund. Yes. Why are you running
Yeah.
to the house levy
Chair,
fund now?
allow me to say that Honorable Senate, the Vice Chair did not catch my answer, because I said there were three reasons why the pay slip fell below 1/3. One of them was that during the COVID-19 period, the national government readjusted the pay from 30 to 25.
Okay.
Some of our employees very quickly rushed to their cooperative societies, that window, and took a loan. Then after some time, the government now reverted back to 30. So that one caused that problem. The other one, remember, in January 2021, there was the introduction of the government personal scheme, where the employee now pays, the employer pays 15 and the payee pays 7.5. That one again made the pay slip fall below. And then finally, there were a number of cases who I have here in our annex, 16B, who had challenges with their arrears. So those were the reasons. I was answering the question on the current situation now.
Okay. So in short, Nyeri County Executive will never be compliant with this, the rule. Because of housing levy fund, NHSF, NSSF.
The way understood.
Yes, the way understood.
Vice Chair, Governor, just a minute. The way understood, I'll help you with this, is that actually everybody is not able to sustain and be within the legal framework of
Not
this
everybody.
requirement.
Chair, with all due respect, we are considering Nyeri. So I'm asking about Nyeri because, Governor,
Yes.
you have been a very good teacher,
Yeah.
Mwalimu. And it doesn't mean a wrong and another wrong will make it right.
True.
So what you should be telling us, apart from this housing levy fund and others that have been introduced to overwhelm the pay slip, what is your strategy as a governor from where you sit as Nyeri? What can you make this committee comfortable? What measures can you put in place in as much as the pay slip is being overwhelmed by some of this introduction of the house levy fund, the issue of NSSF, the issue of the new program under which is now moved from NHIF to another one? So what do you think, or just give us a way out? You are a second-term governor. What do you think should be done?
I think, number one, we will ask that there is predictability. Because as an employee, everybody wants to predict how will, now that we are where we are, I wish we can just stay there so that we go our way out. Because it is only time that is going to heal. Why am I saying this? I gave an example of I as a governor. I took a loan immediately I was elected. And I programmed my pay slip very well to make sure that I don't go below the 1/3. But now with the new introductions, that one has eaten into that. Now I have to either look for ways of trying to repay the loan or extend the time so that the deductions go lower, and then I'm able to remain at the 1/3. But we will continue asking financial institutions to really look at that. And or rather, we could also, in the meantime, relook at those regulations so that we are able to progress. But I see why 1/3 is recommended, because if you go below your 1/3, then it will be very difficult for you to be effective as an employee, because you'll be running up and down.
Thank you, Chair. Because we have to rush, Vice Chair, we will proceed to Sumaili. I think we go to 5.
Five is retirees in employment. Note 11 financial statements reflects 3.6 million in respect of compensation of employees, out of which 5.4 million is compensation for 66 employees who had reached mandatory retirement age of 60 years in IPPD payroll. This contrary to County Public Service Human Resource Manual 2013, section L31, which states that all officers will be required to retire from the service on attaining mandatory age of 60 years. In the circumstances, the management was in breach of law.
Thank you, Chair. The number included officers on contract basis and those with special needs. For officers on contract terms, the appointment letters indicated that the employee's contract would either expire at the end of the contract or on attainment of mandatory 60 years, whichever comes earlier. However, the following were the cases in the county records. We had employees with special needs who retire at 65, and then we have given a list in Annex 17. We also had contract employees who had been employed on contract before Public Service Commission issued a directive barring persons beyond 60 being engaged. The officer's contract had not expired by the end of the financial year. However, the officers have all been served with notice for retirement. I submit.
Thank you, Chair. We are in receipt of Annex 17. With the 66 staff and the payroll amount of the 5.8 which were questioned. However, the list does not give the status. The status in terms of this is the disability. We know disability, you go at 65. You should be able to have that and annexures of letters from disability for ease of now filtering the list from this. Then the contracts, then their respective contracts. Therefore, the issue is not addressed, Chair.
If you listen, Governor, what the OAG is saying, your argument is convincing, yes, but it doesn't have supporting documents. In other words, if you look at your annexures on 17, you are supposed to give the list. Those who are supposed to be on special case, those who are, even the ones you're saying who are going to retire, you would have said the number of the team that is retiring out of the total number of, how many are they? Are they 70? 66.
Yeah.
Is it possible for you to provide a status brought to the Auditor General where you are giving the listing on the special cases, on the people who have not retired and the ones who are retiring, so that then they are able to be comfortable with the answer that you have given?
Thank you, Chair. It is possible to give that. Maybe just a point of notice that I am in that list.
It's a special contract.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted you to know, so that you get what we are trying to say, that some of them are those that are now on, the contract. No, anybody above 60 can still be appointed as CEC. It's not stopped. But I agree, we are going to provide specifics for every individual. Some of them have already retired. They are not they are no longer. But we will provide the OAG with the current status.
Chair.
Yes, Honorable Chirage.
Chair, mine quick is, Governor, I'm your very good friend.
Yes.
Because you speak the truth like me and straightforward. This Governor, you are serving your second term and legacy. Section 62 of the Public Audit Act is very clear that non-provision of documents, there is a penalty to that. And I know most of your officers, you have been with them from faster. Can you give us administrative action you have taken against your own officers who have refused to provide this information? Because if it is a PWD, they have a special ID card that is provided by people living with disability council. There is evidence, and I agree with you that somebody above 60 can be CC, but these are more than 70 from the annex we have provided. These are around 70 people who are beyond 60 years, which is, and you remember, even for notice, and I don't know whether you came with your county attorney, the former CS of public service, Madam Aisha, and even the head of public, issued a strong letter that they no longer allow, at the national level, they no longer allowed an extension of retirement age beyond 60 years. So where is this information? And Governor, to let you off the hook, give us demonstrable evidence that you have taken against your people who should have provided this information. You are not a clerk, you are a governor of Nyeri. These are things that when the auditor came, your people should have said, okay, these are 70 people, these are PWDs, this is the special case we are considering, these are the documents. They go away. I don't think the OAG would be raising this audit query if they had the evidence. Chair, through you, can you rule that the governor give us demonstrable evidence to show that action was taken by individuals who did not provide the information as required by OAG? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Smiley?
Well guided on that matter, Chair. We proceed to the next.
Chair, you have not ruled, you have not given, why are you allowing the governor to get away, Sumaili?
I'm not allowing.
Yes.
It is actually is a responsibility.
Yes. Chair, through you, can the governor answer and give us whether he has taken action against the officers who should have provided the info?
Thank you, Chair. There have been a number of sittings between my team and the Auditor General, the OAG, and the information I had was that they had already gone through this information. They had gone through and they had convinced them. Now, I have just learned now that they were supposed to bring extra documents, and therefore, any administrative action is anticipated. It cannot be backdated because I have just learned that they needed more. I thought, because there have been engagements, and there was, the last I checked is that this was not a matter.
Chair, through you, Governor, have you ever sat in some of these meetings with OAG, even?
Yes, I sat with them,
okay.
And this was, it had been resolved.
But you can
But
see
I hadn't
that.
sat with, I had sat with the two from my region.
Yes.
Maybe it's the Nairobi one who is not.
No, but the Nairobi, Chair, you need to protect the Sumaili.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Actually, what I had done earlier, Vice Chair, before I allowed you to participate or to contribute, is that I had actually made a ruling that the OAG team is going to expect a report from the governor's office, which is giving them a breakdown on who are the individuals who have retired, are going to retire, which ones are the special cases, what were the special agreements and all that, so that then we can rest this matter.
No, Chair, you know, the Sumaili will tell you when they are reviewing, they have the period they extend up to November, and Governor knows. My only concern is that this year, which we are considering under review, they should have provided information there and then. So how do we cure that? And that is through Chair. I was requesting that the governor must take administrative action for non-provision of documentations for the audit by the Auditor General. I agree, Chair, it's not our interest to jail anybody or send them to court, but just to cure that anomaly that happened during the audit review under that financial year of 2020-2021. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. We had all agreed with you on that one. The next one, Sumaili, we go to...
I believe I still have the protection of the chair from the governor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Chair. The next audit query is excessive wage bill. Note 11 to financial statements reflects Kenya shillings 3.6 million in respect of compensation of employees. However, this is about 41% of the total account revenue of 8.7 billion, and which is above the required that 5% as per Section 2C of 107 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and Section 25A and B of the Public Finance Management Act, County Governments, Regulations 2015, which provides that the county government wages and benefits shall not exceed that 5% of total government revenue. In the circumstances, Chair, the county government was in breach of law. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
What has been stated is a fact, but in order to address this wage bill, the county government has taken the following measures. In the year 2021, we introduced a voluntary early retirement program and we implemented it. We also translated the terms of the current staff to permanent terms. And what this one has done is that it ensures that there is a saving on the amount that ought to be paid as gratuity. Gratuity is usually paid by the employer at the rate of 31% of the basic pay, while once terms are translated to permanent terms, the county only pays 15%. This gives the county a savings of 16%. Now, we have also embarked on, before we any external adverts, Nyeri County recruit internally when there is a necessity for certain posts. There is no significant increase of salaries paid when recruitment is undertaken internally. And we also recruit at the entry levels in the cases of replacements. And the government has been replacing majority of the officers who have exited service through retirement and resignation with officers at the entry levels. This ensures that there is a saving since the exiting officers do so when at a higher salary scale and grouping. And Chair, before I submit, allow me to say that this issue of wage bill must be relooked into, because even as we speak about Nyeri operating at 41%, I am sad to inform you that my hospitals have 65%